So there's this passage in Job that I've never seen before, and I've read the book a number of times. But today, this one just really landed. It says, when you sin, what does it do to God? What effect does it have on him? And in all your acts of righteousness, what benefit does it bring him? What does it give you to offer? Now, on its surface, this seems obvious, right? I mean, I've been a believer for 20 plus years, so it's not new information that we have nothing to offer God. But I think what really struck me about this verse today specifically was it just fully exposed the absolute disparity between us and God. I mean, think about this. In any human relationship that you have, no matter how big the power disparity is, there is always a circumstance where you could be a threat to the other person and they could be a threat to you. And likewise, there's always a circumstance where you could add value to them or they could add value to you. You could have the most powerful king in the world, but if he's in the middle of the desert with no water and you have water, then in that moment you have the ability to add benefit to that person, even if the power disparity is immeasurable. But it's not this way with God. With God, there is no circumstance, there is no situation where I will ever be able to add any value to him whatsoever. There is no place where I could ever be a threat to him. There's nothing I can do that has any effect on him whatsoever. And the reason that stood out so much to me is that in every relationship, there's the ability to set terms to some degree. Both parties have some degree of leverage to set certain terms on the relationship. But with God, everything is entirely on his terms. He has no reason whatsoever to relate with us. None. Except that it pleases him to do so. Like, do you guys get what that means? That means that there is nothing I can do or not do that affects the relationship that I have with God. Because there's nothing I can add or take away. So there's nothing I can do or not do that affects my relationship with him. Here's what affects my relationship with him. Him deciding to do something different. Him deciding he's displeased with the relationship for whatever reason. Or him deciding that he's pleased with the relationship for whatever reason. It is solely on his terms, which is comforting in some ways because it means I can't mess this thing up. But in others, it's also terrifying because it means that I am solely in his hands. That means whatever he chooses to do with me in this relationship, I don't have a leg to stand on. I can't point to all the good things I did this week and say, Lord, why are you doing this to me? Look at all this good stuff that I did this week. Likewise, I can't say, God, look at all this bad stuff that I'm doing. Just cut me off. Just leave me alone so that I don't have to endure your discipline and your anger whenever I'm doing these things. I want to be able to just do it free of the relationship. I can't say that either because his decision to be in relationship with me is solely his. And there's nothing I can do to affect it. I imagine it would be like being in a marriage with someone who loves you so much that even when you treat them horribly and you go and cheat and you do all of these things because you don't want to be in a relationship, you want to be able to just do whatever you want, and yet they just continue to love you. They just continue to show up every single day and to love you and to forgive you and to be there. And at some point in time, I have to imagine that you would want a divorce from that person because you don't want to have to contend with the guilt of knowing that this person is still loving you and still forgiving you no matter what you're doing. I think that's why Job said, why are you contending with me? Just let me die. Let me go and be at rest. In fact, I wish I had just never been born because then I would not have had to endure all of this. Job, I think, felt the weight of that reality, of how big the delta was between him and God. And yet the only place where he erred was that he felt like he had a leg to stand on with all of the good that he did. Which by all accounts, Job was a righteous man. In fact, he was so righteous that God singled him out specifically to the devil as an example of a person who was righteous. Like, pause and consider how righteous you would have to be of all the human beings on the planet, that when God is like, okay, Satan, I'm going to give you an opportunity to prove me wrong. That's the guy. I don't think people really register how righteous Job actually was. But when it was all said and done, God said, where were you? Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Where were you when I did all of these mighty works? Can you put your hook into the nose of the Leviathan? Can you tell me where the wind comes from? And perhaps most profoundly, how he opens up the whole thing. Who is this that darkens my counsel? Another way of saying it is there are things going on here that are way above you. Like, way above you. So I've been in a tremendously difficult season for the last couple of years. I would say the hardest season I've ever been through in my life, hands down. And I wouldn't compare it to Job's situation by any means, nor would I compare my own righteousness to his. But to just point out the fact that, at least for my life anyway, the experience that I'm having is one where I found myself in the same situation, saying, Lord, I'm doing everything I know how to do to be right in your eyes. I am doing everything I know how to do to follow you, to be obedient, to prioritize you, to hear you. Am I doing it perfectly? Absolutely not. But in the best of my power, in the best of my ability, the little bit that I have right now, because I feel like I'm so drained from everything that I'm dealing with in my life right now. With the little bit that I have, it's all his. But what I understood as I worked through this verse is that it doesn't matter. It's that I kept thinking, maybe I just need to do something else. Maybe I just need to do something different. I need to pray more. I need to read more. I need to teach more. Maybe, like, where is the more that I need to add to the situation? And then I read that verse. What can I add to the Lord? Nothing. I can add nothing to him. Which means that I'm just in his hands. And that's it. I'm just in his hands, enduring the circumstances that I'm dealing with, which, he keeps showing up at the last minute every time it seems like the bottom is going to completely fall out. It's like somehow he extends the timeline, and while I would like for him to fix it permanently, at this moment, he seems satisfied to just take care of it when he's ready to take care of it, not when my feelings feel like it needs to be taken care of. And the more I sit with this idea, the more I allow myself to settle into it, the more I realize that this is the place where the peace that surpasses all understanding is. It's in realizing that he is in absolute control of everything at all times, and that if I am in his hands, which I know that I am, then whether it be through enduring difficulty, which is discipline for us to make us better, or whether it be to experience blessing. As Job said, the Lord gives, the Lord takes away, right? Praise be the Lord. Because while it may not always be the most comfortable, the safest place in the world is in his hands.